In September 490 BCE, on the plain of Marathon in Greece, a small Greek force faced the Persian Empire. The battle still matters because it shaped ideas of resistance, citizenship, and the survival of the Greek city-states. Marathon was not an isolated clash, but part of a larger struggle over power in the Aegean. Greek communities feared Persian expansion, while Persia saw punishment and control as a way to secure its western frontier. Athens had recently changed politically, giving more influence to ordinary citizens and raising the stakes of defense. That new confidence made the city more willing to fight, but also more vulnerable if the gamble failed. On the Persian side, the campaign was led by imperial commanders carrying the authority of a vast empire. They brought experience, discipline, and the expectation that local resistance could be broken quickly. On the Greek side, leadership was shared among generals, with one commander often remembered for urging action. Their pressure was immense: defend Athens, protect morale, and avoid a defeat that could end the city's independence. The armies were very different in style and equipment. Persian forces relied on archers, cavalry, and a broad imperial mix, while Greek hoplites fought in heavy bronze armor with spear, shield, and close formation. Logistics mattered as much as courage. An invading army needed food, water, horses, and secure beaches, while the Greeks had to stay united, supplied, and ready for a battle that might come at any moment. Morale was shaped by memory and rumor. Greeks knew they were facing a larger imperial force, yet they also fought on familiar ground for their homes and families, which could turn fear into resolve. The Persian army landed on the Marathon coast and established a camp near the sea. From there, commanders could watch the plain, wait for opportunities, and judge whether Athens would send help. Greek forces marched to Marathon after debate in Athens over whether to fight there or behind the city walls. That choice brought the crisis into open country, where speed and formation would matter most. The battlefield was a narrow coastal plain, bordered by hills and marshes. Those features limited movement, shaped cavalry use, and made the fight less about open maneuver than about controlling the available ground. Weather and light also mattered. Dry ground, bright sun, and sea air could affect visibility, stamina, and dust, while the timing of movement across the plain could decide who struck first and where. The Persian plan likely depended on flexibility. Use archers, cavalry, and superior numbers to unsettle the Greeks, then exploit any opening. The Greeks needed a different answer, one built on cohesion and shock. Greek commanders faced a difficult calculation. If they waited too long, the enemy might strike Athens. If they advanced too soon, they risked exposing their thinner center and losing the battle in detail. The opening phase began with both sides holding position and testing the other's nerve. In ancient warfare, the first move could be as much psychological as tactical, and every hour of delay carried meaning. Greek hoplites eventually advanced, reportedly moving faster as they crossed the open ground. That sudden push reduced the time under missile fire and forced the battle into the kind of fighting they preferred. The center of the Greek line appears to have been drawn thinner than the wings. That arrangement was risky, but it may have been designed to absorb pressure while stronger flanks gained the advantage. The pressure point came when the opposing center met hard resistance. Ancient sources suggest the middle of the Greek formation gave ground, but the wings held, creating a dangerous and uncertain moment. At the same time, the Greek wings seem to have pushed forward more successfully. This is where the battle began to turn, not through a single heroic act, but through coordinated movement across the line. The decisive movement was a pincer-like convergence on the Persian center. Whether planned in detail or created by battlefield chance, it forced the imperial force into a narrowing space with fewer options. As the pressure increased, the Persian line began to lose coherence. Ancient fighting often collapsed when formations could no longer hold together, and once that happened, retreat could become disorder very quickly. Cavalry may have played a role before or during the battle, but the sources are not fully clear. What is clear is that the terrain limited some Persian advantages and rewarded Greek discipline at the critical moment. The Greek pursuit was measured rather than triumphant. Their goal was not spectacle, but survival. Drive the enemy back, secure the field, and prevent a renewed landing or attack on Athens. The immediate aftermath was a field of exhaustion, broken order, and quiet relief. Survivors regrouped, tended the wounded, and counted the cost of a victory that had been uncertain until the end. The Persian fleet withdrew, and the Greek army hurried back toward Athens to guard against another move. The campaign did not end every danger, but the battle had changed the balance of fear. For Athens, the victory became proof that citizen soldiers could defend their city against a great empire. That memory helped strengthen confidence in the city's political and military future. In the years that followed, Greek confidence grew, though the wider struggle with Persia was far from over. Marathon became a symbol, but also a reminder that survival depended on preparation and unity. The battle also entered memory as a story about discipline overcoming scale. Later generations would retell it in ways that emphasized courage, but the real event was more complex than any single legend. Historians still debate several details, including the exact role of cavalry, the timing of the Greek advance, and how much of the later tradition is shaped by hindsight. The broad outcome, however, is not in doubt. Another caution is that ancient sources are limited and written with their own agendas. Reconstructing Marathon means balancing literary accounts, terrain, and military logic without pretending certainty where none exists. Today, Marathon is a quiet landscape of fields, roads, and coast, where the ancient battlefield can still be imagined in broad outline. The modern world has changed the setting, but the ground remains evocative. Visitors can stand near the plain and sense how geography shaped history. The openness, the sea, and the enclosing hills help explain why commanders thought so carefully about movement and timing. The story of Marathon endures because it joins military history with civic memory. It is remembered not only for who won, but for what the victory seemed to make possible afterward. Yet the battle should not be reduced to a simple tale of destiny. It was a hard-fought encounter shaped by terrain, leadership, uncertainty, and the limits of ancient warfare. Its importance lies in that combination of contingency and consequence. A single day on a coastal plain helped influence the political imagination of Greece and the later stories told about freedom and endurance. Marathon remains powerful because it is both specific and open to interpretation. We know the place, the broad outcome, and the stakes, even as many tactical details remain carefully debated.